Now, fascinating to notice here too, this is how it ends. Democrats don't just have a Harris or Biden problem, their challenge is far deeper. They have a voter problem. So this is the story, right? We're past all of the fakery, and we're now going to start to see the lie that was put before the American people in a desperate hope that they would be able to win this election. Now, in terms of some of the reaction to it, it will not surprise you that the lefty media is not taking this well. Now, don't forget, they don't like the result, but they also don't like that they have now lost control over the American people to tell them what the priorities of what they should think before they vote. Here's some of the media meltdown that's been playing over the airwaves and online in the past day.
There are levels of sexism and racism that clearly a lot of people in this country are willing to tolerate.
I can't help but wonder if the American people have given up on democracy.
Okay, let's be absolutely blunt about it. There were appeals to racism in this campaign, and there is racial bias in this country, and there is sexism in this country. And anybody who thinks that that did not in any way impact on the outcome of this race is wrong.
Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not.
Donald Trump has been impeached twice. He was indicted 4 times, convicted on 34 felony counts. He's been found liable of sexual abuse. His campaign spewed a lot of racism, misogyny, xenophobia, but voters seem to overlook all of that. I mean,
this is the country we live in. People at this point want a strong man who's a bully, and they got a strong man who's a bully.
I mean, I think we need to start saying out loud that, what is different between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Everybody thinks they're exactly the same on policies, but one is a woman of color and the other is a white man that everybody was really comfortable with, that were moderates and knew him well and had known him for decades.
Now, of course, the truth is that they could be blaming and pointing and whinging and all the rest of it. Remember, these were the people who pretended nothing to see here when it comes to Joe Biden, who was melting before our very eyes. It was all cheap fakes, deep fakes. And remember, it was like day 49 of his presidency in 2001 when I showed you the video of him falling up the stairs. That was the first sign of that decline. And of course, all the polite media wouldn't dare get involved in that conversation. But please spare a thought for the ladies of The View. They had one heck of a struggle session on air today. I get it, their team lost. But what about this for denial?
It would help if we could regulate social media, because one of the biggest offenders is D.C. and Congress have not been able to do one thing in regard to the rogue corporations of social media.
As a woman of color, I was so hopeful that a mixed-race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country. And I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
He's now the president. I'm still not going to say his name. That's not going to change.
Well, good luck to you, right? These people can live in their own bubble of denial. They can turn around and say that they know better than everyone else. Here's the deal, right? Now, if you have an opinion show, you're allowed to have a strong opinion. But if you think that your opinion is the only opinion, right, and I say that as the person with the opinion on the television, then you have lost all touch with reality, okay? You need to always keep your head on a swivel to work out what the people who you completely disagree with might actually be right about. And this is part of what I think is going to be one of the 5 things that we have not just learnt about this election, but the 5 things that you need to think about when you think about American politics going forward, all right? Now, I love this as sort of a side hustle to our focus on Australia. But let me talk now about these 5 things, right? Because I think this is important to have a look at about where we go to in the future.